Recently, I've been entering a lot of short stories into writing competitions, so I thought it'd be a good idea to show you how I create those entries. Now, personally, other than school, I've never really won a writing competition, but before you click off, I've actually run a few writing competitions, so I know what I'm talking about. In fact, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but when my Instagram account hits 100,000 followers, I will be running another contest. And we'll see what happens, but I have a feeling it's going to be a big one. Anyway, having run my fair share of writing contests in the past, I've really integrated what I've learned as a host into how I write submissions for writing contests. And I'm going to share my process for making writing contest submissions now. Before I even started entering writing contests, the first thing I kind of had to learn was that there's no real secret to winning. There's no magical writing tip out there that's going to make every single entry you submit an automatic winner. When I first got started, I spent so much time watching video after video trying to learn how to make the perfect submission. Meanwhile, the truth is the best way to learn how to do better in writing contests is to enter more writing contests. So yeah, after you watch this video, if this is something you're interested in doing, just get started. I used to find most of the writing contests I entered on Instagram. If you go through hashtag writing competition or hashtag writing contest, or you search up writing contest in the search bar, you should be able to find something. Also, as I said before, I'm going to be running a writing contest on my account somewhat soon, hopefully, so stay tuned for that. I've also posted promotions for writing contests on Instagram before and worked as a judge for one, so there are definitely a lot of writing contests on Instagram. That's not the only place you can find writing contests, though. The website Reedsy has weekly short story contests where you can pay $5 for the chance to win $250. There's also an option to make a submission for free, but then you can't win the competition. Some creators don't like contests that they have to pay to enter. I personally feel like writing contests that you have to pay to enter are perfectly fine so long as the host is reputable. As someone who's hosted writing contests for free, mind you, it's a lot of work. Websites have upkeep, judging takes a long time. The host of the competition needs to make a profit if not break even. That being said, if I do enter a paid writing competition, I make sure that the host is reputable, one, and I also make sure that the money that they pay if I win is worthwhile. Reedsy's 5 to win 250 is pretty sweet if you win. If I see a writing contest where I pay $15 to potentially win $30, well, that seems like a scam. That being said, there are other scams I look out for when I kind of filter through writing contests. One, make sure you're not signing away all the rights to your work. There are some contests where the winners are published and there are terms to that. Just read the terms, make sure they're fair. There are other contests that will publish your entries into a journal and then require you to pay for that journal. That's a big red flag. Just be alert. I like to think if a contest seems too good to be true, it probably is. Getting back on track, I've recently discovered authorspublish.com, and that's been a great place to find free writing competitions to enter. They basically post a monthly list of writing competitions for you to check out. Which brings me to the next part of my process, deciding which competitions I actually want to participate in. Here, I basically have a document that's a list of submission calls and contests that I'm interested in. Eventually, I'm going to make an Excel sheet and make it all nice, but for now, the document works just fine. And on this sheet, I basically just have a list of different contests and the days that they're due. These are all contests that I chose because I thought they'd be interesting. Most of these are directly sci-fi contests, and the ones that aren't directly sci-fi contests are themes that I think a sci-fi twist could work really well in. I'm not going to enter a romance writing contest because I don't write romance, and therefore if I try, I'm probably not going to do very well. I'm also not going to submit a sci-fi story to a romance writing contest. Although as somebody who's run a writing contest, you'd be absolutely shocked by how many people do not read the prompts at all. I genuinely don't understand why people even bother submitting a story if they're not even going to read the submission guidelines. I always read the submission guidelines before I decide whether or not to enter a writing contest. Why wouldn't you? They're telling you what the contest that you're entering is looking for. If it's a contest that's run multiple times, I'll check out previous winners and try to understand why they won. If the information is also available, I'll try to check out what themes and writing styles the judges are into. For example, when I've run my writing challenges in the past, there's definitely a ton of information on Instagram for my posts about what types of tropes and things that I like and that I don't like. Entries tailored to my interests are obviously going to do better because I'm the one judging it. Once I've done enough research on the different writing contests and I've kind of evaluated which ones are more ideal for my own writing strengths, then I kind of rank them on how much I want to work on each one. On my list right now, I have over 10 different writing challenges that I'm interested in participating this September. I'm probably not going to participate in 10 different writing competitions this September, so I have to prioritize them based on which ones I'm most interested in. When I do this, I also try to keep due dates in mind. If there's one I really want to enter, but it's in 2 months, I might put it aside while I work on one that I'm not as interested in, but it's due in 2 weeks. I also read submissions and I try to think if I've already written a story that can be used for that submission. If you do that, just make sure it's allowed within the rules, the rules that you read. Read the rules. I also keep in mind how much time I have. If I don't have a lot of time, I like to work on shorter entries. Speaking of, please read the word count requirement. I ran a flash fiction writing contest once, and I shit you not, somebody submitted an entire book. That's right, they submitted 66,000 words to a flash fiction contest. I didn't even know they fit that many words in the submission link. Once I finally pick what contest I want to work on, I get writing. As you know, I'm a pantser. I don't like to outline things. I like to kind of just write and see where things go. I do that for pretty much everything I write, including entries for contests. I think I pants even more so when I'm writing for contests because I want to take risks. When I'm writing an entry for a contest, I try to go big. I really like to take chances, experiment, tell a story that's really a little bit out there. A lot of times I try to include a crazy twist. The mindset I like to have when I enter something into a contest is let's see if I can pull this off. One reason why I do this is it's fun and you learn a lot in the process. The other reason is you really have no chance of winning if you play it safe. Even the smallest writing competition that I ever ran had around 40 entrants. From the contests that I've run, the stories that do not stand out do not win. I hate to say it, but from my experience judging writing contests, it's just entry after entry after entry after entry, and there's one that stands out. You read those 1 or 2 entries that are so different, you just know they have a really good shot at being the winner. Once I've written my entry, I really try to spend some time coming up with a perfect title. I like to come up with a title for the entry after finishing the rough draft of the writing, and in my opinion, from judging some of these contests, the title is so important. When judging these contests, if I can't remember what your story was called, it's not going to win. How can I pick your story to win if I can't remember what it's called? I really like to try to come up with a title that kind of changes the way that you look at the rest of the story. I want my title to be something that really adds to my entry. Now, sometimes I just don't have the time to do this, but I like to take 1 or 2 days to work on the entry and then take a day off and then take another day to edit it. And for a contest, editing is so important. If your entry to a contest is a mess, it's not going to win. And I'm not just talking about grammatical errors, I like to polish my entries. Especially for shorter fiction, every word is so important. Once I'm done editing, I take one more day, I look at it one more time, and I submit it. One of the reasons that I do this is I feel like if I look at something too long, I start to get second thoughts. Confidence is something I'm really trying to work on as an author. Second of all, if I don't submit it soon after I edit it, knowing myself, I'm going to forget about it. Time management is not my thing. When you do submit your entry, I highly recommend you double check the rules. I always make sure my entry is formatted the way the contest wants me to format it. And then I click that submit button and I hope for the best. Almost every time my submission does not win. And that's perfectly okay. Like I said before, some of these contests get so many entries. Just because my entry didn't win doesn't mean it's trash. I like to keep all my rejected stories in a document where I can work on them in the future. Or where I can even submit them to different contests. Just because I didn't win one doesn't mean you can't win another. And when I do finish my author site, I'll be posting them there. Because I'm proud of my entries, even if they didn't win the contest. But that's just my process for making entries for writing competitions. If you have your own process, I would love to hear about it. And if not, borrow mine, let me know how it works for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Good luck with any writing competitions you enter. Perhaps that's my next writing contest.